have a buyer is the most powerful real estate message we have. All right, everybody, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to turn from a buyer's agent to a listing agent. I think this video is incredibly timely for the world we're in today, which is incredibly low inventory, pretty much in all markets across Canada and the US. So how to go from buyer's agent to listing agent should be very high on the list of priorities for you in this business. My name is Darren Langille with Redline Real Broker, and I'm the founder and creator of the Re-Education School set of resources, and I bring a video to you every week to talk about how I can bring things forward to give you tactical, actionable things in your business. So let's get right to it. So as the old saying goes, you have to list to last. I believe this came out in the 1980s when the only public-facing thing that we had as realtors was a sign on the lawn, a just listed, or an open house sandwich board. To list is going to mean you're going to last because you have some visibility to the world. No social media, very little print type advertising, no giant billboards out there that you could get your name out there. You had to list to last. Sounds great, right? Today's world is a lot different. Now, when you are the listing agent, you have a lot more abilities to, again, get exposure. You manage the asset, you control the asset, which gives you that ability to probably last through the changing times. There has never been something truer than this. And today, I think in our environment, it's incredibly more important than ever. And that's why I wanted to put out this video. Buyers agents always feel that they have the short end of the stick. Right? They're the ones being left behind because they don't have that asset to control, to utilize. But there's some other layers to this that I wanted to hit on that you can take forward if you do find that most of your business is buyer agent heavy. So let's flip it here. Let's flip the thing. The listing-based business is like you're on display. The buyer business is you have this like behind the scenes secret. We don't do anything with it. That's why I wanted to flip the script for you as a buyer's agent. I want you to know whenever you have a secret, like if you've got something it's hard to keep it in, right? Someone's giving you this knowledge, this bit of information out there in your real world. It's like, even as trustworthy as you are, it's like a secret feels powerful. Well, I want you to know buying agent side of the business is that powerful secret. And it one that needs to be shared if you want to turn from buyer's agent to listing agent. All right, I speak about this in almost all coaching that I do. I have a buyer is the most powerful real estate message we have. It's powerful, it's non-salesy, it feels right, and nobody gets their back up when they hear the word, I have a buyer. If anything, they say, oh, interesting, and they perk up a little bit, and they lean into you, which is the opposite of what most real estate conversations we have as agents. I have a buyer is the most powerful message. So what do we do with this? So again, if you're a buyer agent in today's market with low inventory, you're feeling the pinch with multiple offers, losing out on things over and over again. So why not take it into your own hands? It's going to take work, but to deliver this secret, you have to go bring it to the people that it would matter to. So stage one, you need to target locations that your buyer is looking for. You need to target the homeowners, the demographics, the streets, the locations, the places they are, and then bring that message to them. That's as simply put. So if I had a couple buyers today and I knew that their favorite areas were on this street, that crescent, on this ridge, I would make sure I plan into my schedule to not just wait for the MLS results to show up and hope that I'm in, one of the 15 offers being presented. I'm going to go find the piece of business instead. So I'm going to hit the streets, you guys. I'm going to hit the streets. And this is where I think you need to, if you truly want to transition just from that chasing your tail buyer's agent over to dominant listing agent, you need to go get yourself in front of more homeowners. And that's the conversation. Now remember, you have a buyer. This is power. And you showing up here on repeat, rinse and repeat, is going to give you an opportunity to talk to now homeowners. Who are homeowners? Homeowners are future sellers, right? These are future sellers. You don't know if they have thoughts of selling, have tried to sell in the past, are considering one in the future. But when you bring the power to them, they don't get their back up, right? When you go and you assume that they're all future sellers and you're bringing value to start, you're going to be able to have a really good conversation. So I would suggest for you, if you're wanting to flip the script on you and you turn from little buyer chasing your tail and you want to become more dominant in hosting the sign on the lawn and looking incredibly powerful, let's go get into many of these as you can. So if you have a buyer, give yourself a target number to say, you know what, for every buyer, I'm going to hit at least 100 homes. And I'm going to go down the conversation to say, I have a buyer that is looking in your area. We haven't yet found them anything on the MLS. So that's why I'm out here in the community today, hoping to speak with homeowners just like you and perking their interest to see, have they had any thoughts of selling? And this is what you would do. So if you have a buyer, you would do 100 homes, 200 homes, 300 homes. Again, while you're out chasing this sale for this client and you're running ragged as a buyer's agent, why not use it as a tool, a piece of leverage to go out and get as many of these conversations going as possible? Goal could be, right? Of course, when we're out there, the goal could be to sell the home and be the matchmaker. That would be amazing, right? I'm going to tell you that doesn't happen that much. But the trouble is most agents that go in thinking that this is going to happen in that door knocking and in that homeowner conversation set of exercises, and they get let down because it doesn't happen. The match doesn't happen. The dots do not get connected. But that's not the goal here. It's to use the secret to drive homeowners into conversation with you as a trusted advisor showing proof of success. So flipping the script is about this. It is about creating the conversations. Then you do everything in your power to build a list of these people. Now, how would we do this? How would we now, at the front door, now that we've brought forward the information, I have a buyer, but they're not interested to sell. You need to be armed and ready with a few conversation starters and conversation continuers and ways to pull out their contact info so that all the work you've done to get to the street in hopes of the perfect match don't go and fall through the cracks. So what would be some things that we can do to build a list? What would we want to bring to the table? Well, let's just go through a few. If I'm a homeowner, what would I like to know? What is going on in the marketplace? If a home comes up on the street, they're all curious. We just have to be the messenger. You don't have to be the one that sold it. You don't have to be the one that brought the buyer, but you can be the one to tell them, like, what is the market update for their area? A list of actives, a list of solds, whatever they want. Just say, hey, are you curious to know what's going on in the neighborhood? Now that we're here and we're talking, why don't you just drop me your best email and I'll set you up on a search so that you can just keep posting of all the things that are going on around here. That's number one. Second one is I always use this conversation about, do they have a number? And I say, I know Mr. and Mr. Seller, I know you just said you're not looking to sell right now and you're going to be here for a while. But can I ask you a further question to this? Do you have a number? They're going to say, what do you mean you have a number? Well, if I did happen to have a buyer, again, you've already said today that you're not interested, but is there a price that you and your wife would consider it and would at least allow a showing? Maybe there's a price out there that gives you the terms and the timeline and the flexibility that you guys can move forward to wherever that dream next house is for you. And you have that conversation. Worst case, they say, no, I don't have a number. But then you could say, well, is there a dream home search that you'd be interested to know about? Again, I have a number for my house that I would sell. I'm not planning to sell. And I do know there's a few areas in the city that I would like to move to. Most people have that. Your sphere has this, the people you meet at the door have this, and why not use that as a call to action? So it could be market update based, it could be a list of solds, a list of actives, nosy neighbor searches, dream home searches. It could be, hey, I don't know, do you have investment properties in the city that you'd like to keep tabs on in a certain area? I know we're talking about your neighborhood, but do you have other properties that you'd like to just understand how things are going? Well, then you bring up that as too. So investment, So many little angles to capture their information. If you have an e-newsletter that brings value, you're really proud of what you do and what you send out to people just generally, mention you have this, right? Anyways, lots of different ways you can go with this. Flipping the I have a buyer into a secret that gives you conversation starters at the door. And then again, the second thing is, if you want to go further and you've been able to capture their info, but you want to go a little further to match make, what do we do here? Well, that's pretty simple too. The secondary set of questions is, well, I know you're happy here, but have you come across anybody in the neighborhood that you think I should talk to? Have you noticed that something's going on over there anywhere on the street? Is there a couple houses or addresses that you're aware that could be great target points for me? Anything you can do to help? And then if not, could you, have you ever heard the term bird dog? Bird dog is, if you do hear something, again, I know you're not looking to sell, but here's my card. I'd love for you to just reach out and let me know if there's something that comes across. Again, I don't want to burden you, but again, if there is, or any thoughts change for you, just please let me know. I'm going to be in the neighborhood trying to find this client a buyer for quite some time, I have a feeling. So this is what you do, right? See, the door opens the expansion talk to talk about all the things we just had. And you need to use your secret to build your list and to transition into listing-based conversations. The more of these people that you meet, bring value to, can capture, enroll into your sphere funnel of just long-term value of one-day clients, will help you transition in time to not just chasing your tail with buyers over to building listings. Now, the second way you can do this, and I've mentioned this in other videos, is simply once you've brought the buyer and sold, now I want you to take that message back to the people that you know, that you have met, you might have, that are on the street, because most of the time the listing agent's not going to do any of that work. They're going to transact and move on. So you, as an agent that brings a buyer to the business, to the street, go be the messenger, go tell the story, go represent what's just happened, the feedback in the neighborhood, and go speak back to a number of homeowners again, and give yourself a chance now to talk to these homeowners and build your list a second time, right? Because again, the goal is to transition from this guy driving around with his little wheelie over and over and over again, and transition to be the guy on the side of the lawn with the sign over and over and over again. So this transition takes time. So the second part is when you've sold or brought the buyer to whatever it is, take the time on the streets to realize this is the conversion that you're trying to do. This is worth your time because you are the messenger, you are the one with the proof of success, and this will help you, again, put the ickiness around of someone showing up at the front door or being inside of a community association and speaking at a meeting, because you brought the buyer, you are the most relevant agent out there. Arbitrage the opportunity, put the power back in your hands, and see what that can do to help you build your business and transition from buyer's agent to listing agent over time. If you sell 6 houses from the buy side per year and you sell 6 listings, imagine if every one of your 6 buyers also created an opportunity for 6 more listings on top of already how you get it. You can see that if that just situation happened, you would go from 6 buyer deals to 12 listing deals. You've now transitioned the percentage of your listing-based business to be much higher than the buyer side. But again, this isn't done by accident. This has to be intentional. This has to be focused, or else you'll just continue with the same old spread, chasing your tail around. And that transition plan to listing domination will be far into the future. Thanks again for listening. If I can help in any way, reach out.